find the shortest route so that you can reach there early? Or do you do that Monday I'll go by this road, Tuesday I'll go by this road, and Wednesday I'll go by this road? Or Monday, Thursday? Time is precious. Yeah, in Mumbai, that's definitely there. Time is very precious to everybody of us. But seeing this activity, what happens? Our surrounding, which are the things are there. Suppose if I ask you that, how many medical shops are there in your nearby vicinity? Or how many hardware shops are there in your vicinity? Or how many general shops are there in your vicinity? We don't know, because the reason behind it is not of interest to us, not of importance to us. If I am always, if there is some patient in my house, then I will always go and try to search for pharmaceutical shops. Then if you ask me this question, yes, I know that there are 4 shops in my nearby vicinity. Because I always, the patient is there, that's why I am saying. That this all I tend to know. So anybody afterwards also, if they ask me that there is one Najdik wala hai, I definitely say that from here you go there. If that is close, you go there. If that is also close, take the other route and go there. So you tend to know because there is specified reason behind that thing. That is also important. Okay. Yeah. So these are all the things which come into the picture. Okay. As I said that I just wanted you to do some activity over here. So I just distribute you one small sheet. Just what I want you to do. See, these are the different activities which we sometimes perform, we don't perform. So I want you to only tick those activities which you perform. If there is some activity which you don't perform, you don't tick on it. Then we will have a small exercise, so where we will get to know as to what are the things which are for information. Like how many of people over here are left-handed? Okay, one. Anybody else? Okay. So left-handed, the information which I just want to provide is the left-handed people, they are 11% more, their corpus callosum is 11% more than the rest of the others. So we'll give a big hand to Miss Veena. Yeah, Miss Veena. So we'll give a big hand to Miss Veena. The left-handed people, they have 11% more corpus callosum than the right-handed. Yeah, that I explain you. The right-handed people, their left hemisphere gets more active. Right? When you use our right hand, so left, the logical, the listing, the sequence, that part is more active in the people who are right-handed. We all. The people who are left-handed, their right hemisphere is more active. That is creativity, imagination. These people, I'm sure that she might be good into creative things, say drawing, or you might be good in, say, music. Are you good in some of the activities, which is creative or imaginative activities? Or if you go into this field, definitely you can grow into much more. The reason behind it, since they are using the left hand continuously, the right hemisphere is more active. So there are people, is there anybody over here who is both right and left-handed? Great. These are called ambidextrous people. Can I know your good name, sir? Om. Yeah. Another big hand to Mr. Om. I want you to clap. The reason behind, I'll tell you. Please clap. When we clap, see, do you know that you might have heard about the laughing club? Have you heard about the clapping club? Yeah. There are different types of clappings. When we clap, our neurons get activated because all these neurons are interconnected in our body. See, this brain and memory, it's a very important subject which we take it very lightly. Now also, those who have come here or those who have not come here, they will think, "Arey kya? Mera to chalta hai na, life chal raha hai na." There is no tension. Job hai, secured hai, life chal raha hai. Right? We are not concerned about it. But don't you think we should be concerned? It's a very important topic, interesting topic, and if we study these techniques and if we understand the techniques, we can grow tremendously and we will enjoy. Now, is there anybody over here who likes all the subjects whenever we were in school? Is there anybody who used to like all the subjects? All the subjects. All. Science.
All in what?
Okay. So there are very few. From the group of 25 people, only one person. So this percentage is very low. The reason behind it, if we don't like the subject, there are n number of reasons. We don't understand the subject, we don't like it, or the teacher who is teaching, she has not taught it properly. There are n number of reasons. But if we use our brain and memory skills, there are many factors to it. The focus, concentration, these are all interrelated factors which is there. And if we use this, I'm sure that you will love all the subjects. I'm definitely sure, I can prove it. The reason behind it, when we don't like the subject, either that subject is not, but the other person also likes it, no? So there is nothing wrong in that subject. Suppose I said I don't like history. But there might be other people, they are very fond of it. History is their favorite subject. If I say I don't like maths, there are people who score continuously throughout their life full marks in maths. So that there is no some wrong thing in that subject. There is something wrong in me if I don't like it. If I have not understood that subject, I don't have liking for that. But if I develop liking for that, if I understand the concepts, if I memorize the concepts, if I know all the things, definitely I like it. Why I like some subject? Can anybody tell? Suppose, which subject you like better? History. Why? Okay, so this is your viewpoint about that particular subject. If I tell you about science, whatever you have said, it has enthusiasm, it has interest. It does it not, but not for you, right? So all these terms which are there, it's definitely for the other subjects also. For all. The things which we are saying, the interesting things which we are saying, that's all for all the subjects. But it's mainly not for me, because that doesn't attract me. That doesn't give interest for me. But if we can create interest into that, if you understand that, if there is some rule which has been laid down that you have to score, then what you will do? Then people will want the ratta maar lenge. You have to, the passing mark is 70. Now the passing mark is 35. If tomorrow the government says that passing mark is 70, what people will do? The subject which they don't like it, mugging, ratta marenge pura, and they will get 70. But what after that? Now when I take sessions for students, I ask them, every boy, right from the first to 10th standard, every year he gives at least one examination, right? So 10 examinations he gives. When he comes to 11th, and when the exams come, why is he afraid of the exams? He is having 10 years of experience of giving exams. Why the stress? Why the tension? Can anybody clear on to this point?
More exams class?
Sorry?
Class?
No, even if today is 31st, if the exam is declared on 5th or 10th of November, today also, doesn't that stress and fear come into mind? Last minute is different thing. I'm just asking before the exam, a few days before the exams, why this fear, why this tension comes? When the student is having 10 long years of experience of giving the exams, subject change, the content change, the higher levels changes, but the exams is same. He gets the paper, he has to write the answers, NE5, NE4, the same pattern is there. Pattern has not changed, it's not online. So the person will say that it's online, that's why I fear. It's the first time I don't know how to give online examinations. But the 11th also the same paper is given, the same answer sheet is given. You have to go in the classroom only, you have to do the same thing. Then why the fear? Why the stress? Why the tension?
It is without any full confidence. Some